What's going on, everybody? Hope you guys are having a good day. We have something a little different today that I think a lot of you will find interesting, insightful, and possibly inspiring. But before we hop in, please go check out my socials in the description. Links to all of those are in that description, as well as joining the 3.7 liter Mustang group on Facebook. Wealth of knowledge there and a lot of cool people there. So without further ado, let's get on into it. So if you just want to introduce yourself, go for it.
Yeah. Hey, Sean Duncanson here, from up in Wisconsin, and we have a race team, and we are running the Mustang 3.7.
Awesome. That's great. Are you part of a team or is it just you? What kind of league are you in? 'Cause I'm kind of new to this as well.
Yeah, so what we're doing, so I've got a friend of mine, Dean Dahl, from up here, and he's been racing a lot of years. I've been racing a lot of years. So we're getting a little long in the tooth, so we decided to do some road racing. It's a little less crashing and everything else, less risky. And another friend of ours, Brad Dahmer, that helps us out. And actually, the car that you see in the background, there's the car we raced. It just got wrapped yesterday, actually. And that's at Brad Dahmer's shop in Sheboygan. And he's with Brad Dahmer Motorsports, so he's a big help to us for the car. And he's going to be one of the drivers that coming up. And everything. So where we started is actually in the background there. You can see another Mustang in the back, SN95, that Dean and I used to have, and we ran that in Champ Car Endurance Series. And what Champ Car Endurance Series is long distance road racing. So we race for hours on the track. Some of the races are 8 hours one day, 7 hours the next day. They do have a couple. I think they have one or two 12 hours. I think they have a 24-hour race, and they also have a 14-hour race that we're going to be going to do in Daytona in April. And so that's kind of like the Rolex of 24 hours, except it's the Champ Car 14 hours. So we run all day and into the night, so it'll be challenging. So we used to race the silver car that was there in the background, and that's a full-blown race car. And we just couldn't get the endurance out of it. The engine wasn't making it. It was fast. Wow. It was always one of the fast cars, but it couldn't make it. Mm-hmm. So, and it was kind of in what they call the outlaw class. We call it the outlaw class. So we decided, hey, let's get a car that fits in the class and try to be more competitive and try to win some of these things here. And, kind of being in the Ford family, we're looking at what can we run. We need horsepower, handling, and good fuel mileage is one of the main things. So we got looking, and it's like, well, wow, why don't we try running one of the Ford 6-cylinders? Well, the 4.0 is really pretty much a dog.
Yeah,
it's got a chassis and stuff there, but it's a dog. Let's everybody face it. So we looked at the specs on the 3.7, and it's like, why don't we run this 3.7? So we just had hey, let's just wing it. Let's just try this 3.7 once and see how it goes. So we looked around for quite a while, and we found one that a guy had, a wholesaler that buys them off the car auctions, smashed up in the front a little bit. And at first he wouldn't sell it to us. I can't sell you a whole car. It's illegal. And I'm like, we don't need the whole car. Just sell us the outside of the car. So he took all the airbags out of it and all the interior and safety stuff and took the cats off it and sold us the car for a couple $1,000.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah. So it's a tired old gal. She had 140,000 on it when we got it.
Okay.
And so we got it, and we think it was going to be a good car. So we got it, had to do a little fixing on it. And we first took it to like one of those parking lot race things. I can't remember what they're called. Track Attack or something like that.
Are they like autocross? Ah, nice.
Yeah, so we took it to autocross. It's like, let's try this thing in autocross once to see if it's really going to be right. And it handled great. It was good. So it's like, okay, this could be a race car then. So then we the next thing we did is we took it to Road America here in Wisconsin. That's our home track, Road America. And we took it there on a track day and ran it. And it was like, yep, this thing's pretty good. And we made it about 6-7 laps. No, we probably made it by 10 laps maybe. And the clutch went out of it.
Oh, okay.
It was like, all right. So it was clutch was toast. But we did learn.
Was it the stock clutch?
No, it wasn't the stock clutch in it after we tore it apart because we didn't know who had the car before us.
Okay.
So the clutch was toast. Um, and so, but we learned enough to say, hey, this thing can be a race car, but the gearing was wrong in it. So
Did it have
it
the
came,
273s?
yeah, it came stock
Yeah.
with a 273. So
Yeah.
we pulled it apart. Um, and yeah, we pulled it apart and put 373s in it. Um, I had a local shop in town here custom build us the aluminum drive shaft for it, one piece aluminum drive shaft. We used the two steel ends on the yokes and stuff, and they put them in.
Nice.
And then we put a new clutch in it. Uh, and then we put so the front brake setup on it that we have is it's like a 2005-7 rotor with a 2017 GT calipers, which sounds
Okay.
odd, but they all bolt up. They bolt up just fine. So they got the big disc on them and everything. But you need an 18-inch wheel to put them in,
Okay.
because even our 18-inch wheels just rub on it. We had to ease the edge just a little bit with a grinder on the
Gotcha.
caliper. But so we run that. The rear brakes are stock, and we just put a track day pad in it, and he said, "Let's go run this thing at a track day now." So we took it to 4th of July, and the thing hauled the mail. We first got the tune on it. Well, we didn't get a tune it. All we did is we shut the speed limiter off on it because
Okay.
it was dying at 112. It was shutting
I think it's
off.
150, yeah, 112. I
Yeah.
think it starts to
Yeah,
cut
I think
out.
we were getting about 112 out of it. It was shutting off. That's what it actually was set at that. So we got HP tuner and bumped that up to like 250 miles an hour, hoping we could get that fast. But, so we got that on there. So we took out for a track day and ran the crap out of it, and it ran great. And it's like, all right, this thing's gonna make a race car. So
Nice.
we got done with that and brought it back to the shop, and that had to do all the stuff we need to do to turn it into a race car. Make sure we had good cooling, a decent radiator in it. We had to put all our driver, we have our helmet fans, our seat belts, and racing seat and all that stuff. Coolers. We put a different breather tube on the rear axle because some of the rear axle fluid comes out of them things a little bit when the G forces. So we did that. The first race we did then, we didn't touch the engine. We put like new plugs in it, cleaned injectors, and did general maintenance stuff on it. But and then we just welded a pipe in where the catalytic converter was and ran some cheap mufflers in it,
There you
and
go.
away we went. Put full roll cage in it, so it's got a full certified cage in it and everything. And so our first race we ran it was Champ Car, then Road America 25, the first 8-hour race. And it ran good. It was really competitive lap times with everybody, and we ended up starting back in the field. So with Champ Car, the different rules that they have, they apply a point value to cars, and our car, and basically they start off with, like, they say 500 points is like you're even. You can get, some cars, like, I don't know, say you get a little piece of crap car that might only have 200 points in it, but you can put coilover shocks on it and all that stuff that'll build up to 500 points. The Mustang, this one came stock at 530 points. And then we put the aluminum drive shaft in it, which is another 10 points. So they pointed at 540. So
Okay.
for every 10 points you're over 500, you have to start a lap down.
Oh,
Yeah, so
okay.
it's a huge penalty. We don't think it's fair, but it's a huge penalty. So we had to start 4 laps down.
4 laps?
Yeah, which sounds like a lot, but at the end of the 8 hours, it's really not too bad. And a
Because you
lot of
guys
the
can make
cars,
up with it like gas and tire switching. Is that
yeah,
true? I know a little bit about racing, but not like.
yeah. So, we're in the class like with some BMWs, Nissan 350Zs,
Yeah.
Nissan Altimas. Those are the things. There's a couple other Mustangs in there, the older style, and everything. So we ran, and at the end of the day, we finished. We were top 10 in class and top 20 overall. I think they started 75 cars there,
Oh, wow. Okay.
and then
Nice.
yeah, we ended up with a similar result on Sunday too. Top 10 in class and top 15 overall on Sunday.
Okay.
And car ran good. We tracked our mileage. We we had to with Champ Car, you can race the car 2 hours before you have to switch drivers. So that would be optimum if you could get 2 hours of fuel out of the car, but we couldn't get 2 hours of fuel out of the car. We have stock stock fuel tank in it, which you have to keep. You have to stay the same size. You can put a fuel cell in, but you have to stay the same size. And so we ran it. We were getting about 6 miles a gallon with it. So it's a little over a lap. So it's not the economy thing you think it is, but we ran it hard. We ran the piss out of it, and it worked. It ran like a machine. Nothing went bad on it and everything. From Saturday to Sunday, we threw a new set of pads in the brakes and everything, and that worked fine. So, no, pleasantly surprised with how it performed.
Nice.
We
That's
thought,
awesome.
yeah, we thought it would get a little better gas mileage, but it didn't. But it's still plenty powerful. And with those 373 gears, it actually performed very well. In third gear. So we were running third, fourth, fifth gear around the tracks. So some of the corners, when you come out of it in third gear and you tromp on it, it'll break it loose and go and slide a little bit and go. And I would say fourth gear felt average, but for some reason, this car and engine combination pulls in fifth gear.
Right,
we walked more people. We walked more BMWs. We could walk all the Nissan 350Zs. We were walking them in fifth gear down the straightaway, and it was just hilarious. It's like, how is this happening? But it did. So car ran great, and so we decided, let's go to Daytona with this thing. The three of us have never raced there, kind of an old guy bucket list, and so now we're going to Daytona. So the one thing we decided to do when we went to Daytona is we have to get this the computer in the car programmed. We've got to get a tune in it. We got to get it set up. We got to get it running better. So talking to all the major tuners, the Ortiz and everybody else of the world, nobody would give us a tune for the car without cats.
Right. Yeah. It's like a legal thing, I'm sure. And
and that's what everybody said. I'm like, hey, it's a race car. And they're like, nope. Everybody tells us they have a race car and they can't do anything. And I'm like, no, it's really a race car. And so we couldn't find anybody to tune it. So we went back to Dean, the co-owner of the car. He's like, we're going to go to my guy down in Illinois, and he tunes drag racing Mustangs all the time, and he's going to tune it. So we took it down to him. He's an older guy, been doing this for years. And Dean always told me, he said, this guy is incredible. And after seeing what he did, he's incredible.
You want to give him a shout out? Who is it?
Well, no, we'll keep that under wraps right now.
Oh, for the tuning? Sure. My bad.
This is a secret guy.
It's your secret sauce. Okay.
I'll tell you why it's secret. We didn't really necessarily tune it so much to get more power out of it right now, but there was a lot of other things that happened. So getting into the big 3.7 tuning thing, everybody asks about it on the pages. Everybody wants to know, hey, what tune should I get? What can I do with all this stuff? Mm-hmm. There are so many things you can do with this car. So let's start off with some of the people. They probably don't know that this is a car. It drives by wire. So that means the throttle pedal is by wire. It doesn't have a cable to it. It doesn't have a rod that goes to the carburetor or the fuel injector or anything like that. It's drive by wire. So you put it to the floor. The little wire says, hey, they're going wide open. So there's a lot of things that the manufacturers do to these cars when you're running them wide open and undoing things. So some of the things that we found with the car, well, first of all, we found we had an exhaust leak in the car. We didn't even know we had an exhaust leak. Huh? So it was running rich on the right side. So we
Where
did
was
that.
It at the header? Was it at the headers or?
It was actually at where our connection pipe where the catalytic converter used to go at that manifold part.
Okay.
Yeah, we just had a little leak in there. Wasn't bad, but it was making it run 16% rich on the right side.
Okay.
So we have the front O2 sensors before the cats. Those are still in there doing all the talking to the car. The rear O2 sensors, we got those completely shut off. So we're able to do that through the tune and the program. So some of the other things that was happening with the car is when you would run the car, and if you're in first gear or you're in sixth gear, it shuts off some limitations that can happen with the car. But if you're in second through fifth, there's limitations that it happens. And one of it is there's an input shaft sensor in there that senses your transmission speed RPM range. Well, that RPM range was set down to where we were going down the track in fifth gear wide open, and it would only let us go 132 miles an hour. And we didn't know that. So he could tell that on the dyno, but we didn't know it because when it would get there, it was actually pulling throttle out of the car. And it's not pulling it back to like 50%. It's just pulling it back like, it'll pull back like 1, 2, then it's 4, then it's 5, then it's 10%. It was pulling as much as 12 to 14% throttle out of the car. Wow, and we didn't know it because you're just sitting there with your foot to the floor saying, hey, this
I'm
thing's
going
kind of falling.
This is pretty. Yeah, this is kind of fast.
Well, and you're just like, okay, it's a 6-cylinder falling on his face. Yeah. You know, when we were under other cars, our other cars are around 150 plus, and they pull all the way through. So you're like, okay, well, it's 6-cylinder. That's all it's got. Well, that wasn't all it had. So he changed that. So just basically raised the RPM input shaft sensor, another couple thousand RPMs, so you can do that. And then another thing that we did was, when it's running that fast, your front O2 sensor in your pipe, it doesn't read how hot your exhaust gases are getting, but it actually does a mathematical calculation as to how hot your gases are getting. And it takes that setting and says, wait a sec here, you're getting way too hot, you're going to burn your catalytic converter up. So it starts throwing fuel to it. It starts pulling back throttle out of it. And it was doing that as well, and we had no idea it was doing that. So those are a couple things that we found without even touching the tune on the car and everything. So those are two big things that I can pretty much guarantee you no other tuner is doing, because the legality side of things.
Yeah. Right.
So I think that's what you're getting at. So we did that, and I'm trying to think. There's a couple other things we did. So we found out that the better the fuel you run in it, the more horsepower you're going to get. It'll adjust itself. If you're running 87 to 91 to 93, it'll make an adjustment to that and actually advance your timing better by itself, but by the quality of the fuel. So it's called the anti-knock sensor system in it. So you can do some changes with that a little bit to get that to work right. So we did all three of those things, and basically what we get, when he first ran the car, he got 250 rear wheel horsepower out of the back.
Right.
Out of the okay. Yeah. So it was 250. Yep. And when he got done changing these other things, we got 270 out of it. So we picked up 20 horsepower. But in all reality, I don't think we really picked up 220 horsepower. I think it opened it up to allow us to use 20 more horsepower because of all these throttle positioning things that were happening. Yeah. So I think that's the big part of the tune for racing and other people that we understand is like, there's not a lot of tuning to do in the car because you can't really adjust the timing. You can adjust the timing a little bit, but it times itself. The timing's all over the place on it because the computer tells it how to be. And same thing with the fuel. So I think the main thing is run really good fuel. Run 93 if you can, and maybe even 98. Do not run race fuel in it. You have to run unleaded. Well, you can't run leaded fuel in it, I should say. Okay. Most of the race fuel is leaded, so you don't run leaded fuel in it. That'll throw it all out of whack. And run good fuel in it, and just get all that other stuff shut off and let it eat. Because it'll go. So I'm excited to be able to get that other 120 horsepower, or another 20 horsepower, and see where it's at. The car ran fast. He ran at 190 miles an hour on the dyno.
With 373 gears?
Yeah, we put it in 6th gear and he just let it eat. He said.
God.
Yeah.
That has to feel violent. Like that.
Yeah, I'm sure it was.
Good.
Yeah, he said he ran it up there. So he recalculated our speedometer and everything like that. And there, another thing he did too is the radiator fan, when it hits temperature set point, once it gets going above there, the fan ramps in slowly. So it starts at like 5%, then it goes to 10, then 20 and 30, 40, 50%. We changed that because when we want the fan on, we want it like on. So we have it jumping in at 75%, I think, right off the bat, and then it'll ramp up to 100 as it needs it. And mainly that is for when we come into pit. So when we slow down and come into pit lane, we're doing like 35, or they have cautions, which we're doing about 35 miles an hour on. We need that fan to be pulling that air like right away. We don't need a little bit of air. We need a lot of air. To that. When we're racing it, the fan does nothing because we're doing 100 miles an hour all the
Yeah,
time.
it's just
So
blowing anyway. So
yeah, yeah. So I think, in the state of the 3.7 form, and then this being a 3.7 Mustang, it's great. The car's easy to drive. Um, we haven't done anything with the engines. The engine's sitting at 145,000 miles right now. When we took it down to the engine tuner guy, he looks at us and he goes, "Are you too freaking stupid? You guys are gonna race a car that's got 145,000 miles on it in the motor?" And we're like, "Yeah, because we just got done racing for 15 hours with 140,000 miles on it, so we're gonna try it again."
yeah,
Um,
I mean,
so he's like,
sorry, continue.
"No, yeah, I think like you said, there's a lot of people run them 200,000 miles."
I was just gonna say, at the time of recording this video, I just released a video whether or not to get these cars in 2026, and I was just talking about how many people have these cars at 150,000. Someone boosted it at 150,000. Someone has it at 200. Another guy, I think, again, who does a lot of road courses and hard races, has it at 200,000 miles. He's like, it's fine. It's
Yep.
perfect. So I think 145,000 is just like breaking it in.
Yeah. Yeah, in the back of my mind, I'm always like, well, we should just race it one more time, and then we'll rebuild it or something like that. And it's like, maybe just let it go. Oils and it's clean and stuff. Just let her go.
See what happens. Just go for a little bit.
Yeah.
No,
It's been great. The motor's been great. I've talked to a couple people. Dave Durst, I think his name is. He's on the web page. He has the blue Mustang. He's actually posted on lately. Now he's been rebuilding his motor. I think he's from the Texas area, I believe. He does a lot of track racing stuff with his car. I've talked to him on the phone a little bit, and he's been a big help steering me the right way. This car as well is running very well in the SCCA road racing series in a T3. It's called the Touring 3 class. And I think last year at Road America in the national runoffs, it took like the top 3 places.
Wow.
In that class. And I talked to the guy who was the champion of that. He's out of Seattle, and he gave me a little bit of insight to some things. And he's like, "Yep, run the car. It's been great." So actually just today, the car got fully inspected for its SCCA logbook. And I got my license and everything. So we're going to run that car in SCCA racing this summer at Road America.
Great. Congratulations.
Well.
That's exciting.
So, yeah.
I mean, like you said, you've been trying a bunch of great things about the car, but can you give me maybe a couple, like 5 things that you like most about the car?
Surprisingly, it has more power than what I ever thought it would. When we first started running, I am surprised about the power. The handling, that chassis has a full frame underneath it, where our old SN95, we had to put frame stiffeners in it. The handling and the ease of how it drives is pretty easy. I think part of it is it's a little bit lower horsepower car than running a big V8 or something like that. So when you jump on it coming out of the corner, it's it doesn't really get out of your hands. They look cool. I think they look nice.
Yeah, they look great.
And everything. Yeah, they're easy to work on. Parts are cheap for them. Yeah. And I would suggest anybody get in and run one,
Yeah.
You're probably going to ask me what I hate most about it.
You know what? That was going to be the next question. Yes, actually. Yeah.
The number one thing, the sound.
Really?
They're terrible.
I mean, you're going catless and is it just straight pipe, or is it like the big pipe is the same?
No, the straight pipes are really bad on it. We have mufflers on it. The car's actually pretty quiet, but it doesn't have a racy sound to it. And I'm sure we can get there. I'm sure if we spent a bunch of money, we can't put headers on that car because it puts us in a different category. So we run stock manifolds, but I'm sure if we ran some Roush mufflers and everything, it doesn't have the resonators in it. So we're piped all the way back to the mufflers.
Oh no. So you're catless and without the resonators?
Yeah, catless without the resonators.
Just drag tin cans behind
you. So I would say, so that's the thing, is the sound of the car.
Yeah. Maybe some Borla. Some Borlas would help a lot, I think, because it gives it the muffler look and kind of sound. It kind of melds it. Roush would just just hurt you and the person behind you the whole
Yeah.
time, I think. And this is coming from someone who has the Roush, but I have the headers to go with it to mellow it out
Yeah.
and make it sound
Yeah.
good, you know. But
Well, and you know, the droning thing isn't that big of a deal for us. Like I said, we're running the car probably 4,500 RPMs to 65 all the time,
yeah,
and stuff. And
yeah,
so we're not getting that low drones. We don't really care about that too much. And plus,
right.
we're running our radio system and helmets, and nobody cares about the guy behind you. So,
Exactly.
yeah. So I think that's cool. We can't add a turbo, we can't add superchargers for it. That kind of puts it out of the stock configuration of what it really
Mhm.
is, and everything. But yeah, I mean, that's it. I mean, as far as that, I think the car is great. I keep telling a couple of friends of mine that were racing, and my buddy Dean too. I'm like, if we smuck this car up, we're gonna turn around and go buy another one, because
Excellent. Love to hear that.
they're good. And some suggestions for people that if they want to try it, I would say go to the Track Attack, the parking lot race, the HDPE. They have
Yeah,
drivers
autocross,
courses there,
right? Yep.
autocross. You could start there a little bit, but a lot of the large road courses have track days. Up
Hmm.
here in Wisconsin, it's called Northwood Shelby Club. They run track days at Road America. I think they run down in Illinois, maybe even at Gingerman in Michigan. Sometimes they get down in Indiana. Once in a while, they get to Indianapolis. But there's lots of other places that have track days at your local road course track,
Yep.
and they'll separate you by group. Like, hey, I don't have much experience, so they'll put you on the track with the people that don't have a lot of experience. And it's not, hey, I got a slow car. You're not slow. You're
Doesn't
not going to
matter.
be out. You're going to be fine.
Yeah.
But a lot of those groups also have instructors. Northwood Shelby Club, they have an instruction class that you can go to in the morning before you start running your car. They try to talk to you about how to take care of your car, what to do with it. Don't go and run it for 20 laps because it's going to overheat on you because it's still a street car, and how to turn the corners. But they also have volunteer instructors that will ride right seat with you and help you get around the track.
Yep.
Take all the advice you can get,
Mhm.
because especially driving the track and learning the line of the track, the tendency, I helped out with Skip Barber when they taught at Road America a little bit. So I've helped give some people some instructions, and the main tendency that people have to do in road racing is turn too early into the corner. They turn in too early,
Yeah.
and they start turning in, and they leave the outside of the track, not where they should be. And my buddy Dean, he teaches people too, and he's always said the most expensive real estate on the track is that 12 inches on the outside right before you turn in, because people
Yep.
keep giving it up all the time. So those are some things. Get some instructions and do it. And I think it's a great way to have fun. And after you have the car in the street and you went back and forth to work with it and you beat the hell of it on the racetrack, then you're like, hey, I got to get a new minivan for the wife. You might as well turn that thing into a race car and
Yeah.
put a cage in it and run it,
No,
and
I
everything.
mean,
So,
absolutely. Just to piggyback off of you, like I've done the exact same thing that you just said. I don't have any videos of autocross yet, but I have videos of me on Lime Rock at Palmer, doing autocross and road racing. You're not there to win money. You're there to kind of have fun
yeah.
and if you spin out, I remember the instructor at Lime Rock when we were doing the track tapas and we were doing first a little bit autocross. He said, "This is the safest place you will ever be to spin out.
Hmm.
Send it, like,
Yep.
see how it goes. One Camaro
Yep.
spin out, and then I kind of drifted a little bit. Like, it's a good, safe, fun place to do. And again, no one's judging you. You could be slow as heck. We had
Yeah.
minis there. We had a full-on turbo GTI, I think it was. We had two Lotus. We had me again. Like, the only time that I felt like the car was underperforming was on the straightaways, on the big long
Hmm.
spets, because ahead of me
Yep.
was the Camaro and a V8 Mercedes. There was nothing I could do to keep up.
Yeah.
I mean, I had
Yeah.
street tires, right? So even in the corners, for that particular instance, no, there was no way. But on the road autocross track, I mean, the car handled phenomenally. I
Hmm.
was blown away, and that was the second time I had ever done autocross. Like, absolutely. So when you say just go out and do it, like,
Yeah.
That's what I try to get people to do. See, like, hey, this car can move on the drag
Yeah.
strip, but it can compete and have fun at these other places. And I will leave a link in the description for, I believe it's the SCCA like website, because I know I had to sign up for like New England when I did it back up in Massachusetts, some sort of a group that I had to sign up for. I think it was through Haggerty or something. I don't know if it's the same for you guys.
Yeah, Haggerty is another group that
Yep.
does racing, and you can get the insurance as well through them if you need to. But just go to the racetrack website, and they a lot of it. You'll see, hey, when do they have track days? And all of a sudden you'd be like, oh, there's 20 different. So what happens is the racetracks rent the facilities in road racing. So road racing is different than circle track a little bit, but so like Road America only holds one race a year for themselves, and that's the Brian Redmond race. It's a memorial race. All of the other races that they have at that track, the companies come in and lease the track. IndyCar comes and leases the track. SCCA comes in and leases the track. IMSA comes in and they lease the track. Champ Car comes in, they lease the track. Um, so so those tracks run almost. Road America probably has something going on there at least 3 or 4 days a week all throughout the summer. Like they have winter cross there this weekend.
Mhm.
Normally there's snow up here in Wisconsin, but there's not snow right now. But they have a small go-kart closed course track that they run. They do winter autocross on it in the
Yeah.
wintertime. So there's stuff going on at your tracks all the time. And definitely do track days. And again, like you said, when you go to track day, you're not going to be the fastest car there. I don't care if you're Mario Andretti, because there's always somebody there with a Lamborghini Hurricane that's doing 190, or a GT350 that's running a $180 down the straightaway. Well,
Yeah.
those are $100,000 cars.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
start
It's
off with this, and run and have fun with what you're doing, and go there with some buddies, and have fun.
exactly. 100%. I will always tell anybody that just go do it. Like even,
Yep.
I mean, when I drove 2 hours to get to Lime Rock, and it was so worth it. Like just being on the track is sick, and then get to go do that
Yep.
mini autocross thing. Like you might say, if the time is harsh that you think it is, just do it. Just even if
Yeah.
you just do it
Yep.
once for the summer or the
Yep.
springtime coming up, and you'll be like, wow, that was fun. Maybe you should go do it again.
Yeah.
It's totally worth it.
Yep.
And you
And
can
you're
run it in
not racing.
stock. And you're not
Yeah.
racing. You can do a stock. I
Yeah.
mean, my car, I
Yeah.
dailied the car, and I went to go take it to autocross. Next day, I drove it to work.
Yep.
I changed the brakes out. That weekend, I went to Lime Rock, burnt the crap out of the brakes, really smoked
Yeah.
those puppies, but they
Yeah.
broke in.
Yeah.
But then the next day, drove it to work. Like, no
Yeah.
issues. The car
Yeah.
is going to be fine.
Yeah, and a lot of the track day groups or the websites, they'll have little checklists of things to do for your car before you bring. Make sure you got good tires. Make sure your brake fluid is hands down by far more important than your gas.
Mhm.
You got to have good brake fluid in it, and run it. But if your brakes start going, only run 4 laps or something like that, and then come in. Realize when your brakes are starting to give up, or realize when you're getting tired. A lot of people are like, wow, you only go out there for like 5 or 6 laps at a time. It's like, yeah, you'll be tired if you haven't
You
raced
will be
before or
tired.
run it. You'll be tired after 5 or 6 laps. It's a good break.
Mhm.
And everything. And face it, you're not there to wreck your car. You're just there to drive it. And like I said, you're
Yeah.
not racing it. So yeah,
Exactly. And more than likely, you have to drive it. Remember, when you're on the track, if you drove it there, you got to drive it home. So
yeah,
know your limits. Know
yep,
whether to be like, okay, I can push it, or you know what, maybe we don't. That's okay. You
yeah.
got to get home. Like,
Yeah.
don't be
And those
stupid.
things those things will say, like, take everything out of your car, take your golf clubs out, take your floor mats out, take your garage door opener out, because that thing will be bouncing
It's a
around and get
fly.
underneath your pedal,
Hmm.
and do that. And like I said, you bring somebody with you, get your helmets, bring somebody with, they can ride with you right seat and have fun,
Yep.
and everything. So yeah, it's good. It's good time. And then if you start to say, hey, I want to get into something more serious, more racing, go to a couple of the races and go talk to people. The thing about road racing is the pits are open. It's not like circle track. It's not like NASCAR where you got to have a hard card. You got to have a special pass to get in there. Road racing, you can come and see the cars. You can walk up and talk to the drivers and everything like that, especially in these grassroots series like Champ Car, or a lot of the other series that we run at Road America, the Vintage Series, and even a lot of the SCCA races that are there and stuff. You can go talk to people. And everything, and look at the cars and ask questions, and how do you get into it, and everything like that. And I really like your car. Where do I buy the parts? What kind of tires you run and everything. So yeah. it's good. And I've met so many people through racing that have become friends of mine. It's crazy what the following's like. So
Yeah, that's awesome. That's good to hear. I mean, with all of that, what do you think is like kind of I know you guys were talking about going to Daytona, but
yep.
what's next for like the car, yourself, and maybe your team and
Well,
everything?
yeah. So we go to Daytona April 11th. So stay on the page. I will probably post it. Our racing page is Revelation 1911 Racing on Facebook.
I will
Um,
leave that in the description as well. So if you guys want to take a look at
yeah,
something like
yeah,
that.
Revelation 1911 Racing. I will post a link that Champ Car has. Champ Car does a broadcast of the race at Daytona on those larger special races, which is neat. It's 14 hours. It's on YouTube. Sometimes people just turn on the background and go. We also have a live stream in-car camera that we broadcast with. And I think you can show some of the clips from our Road America race a little bit there. But we will have our live stream broadcast running as well. That's on My Races Live. That link I have to send out like as soon as we start the camera up. We usually start up like 15 minutes before the race. Then we can get that link and then we'll send that link out and you can just go on that and watch us live in the car. Sometimes there's a lot of conversations we're having in the car that they're like, oh, that probably shouldn't be on the air, but like this thing's handling like a piece of crap, or that guy almost run me off the road. I'm gonna send that SOB. But yeah, so it's good. So we can post some of that stuff there, and then after that, the car's going to come back, do some maintenance on it. I'm going to run it at Road America a couple races and see how we run with that. Not sure what series it's going to be. The SCC, I think. The silver car in the background there in the picture. I'm going to run that one as well with my friend Brad. As we get going, we'll run that one a couple times this summer too, mainly all at Road America. And then in the fall, in October of 26 here, Champ Car comes back to Road America again, and we'll run the Mustang there again in Champ Car. Champ Car is a really good series for us. It fits the bill for us. That there's the 24 hours of lemons. We tried running with it. It's not for us. It's not for people that like to race. It's for people. I don't really like the series the way they run it, but
Mhm.
I don't think it's very safe. But Champ Car is a great series to run with. The next series up kind of for us is WRL World Racing League. The 3.7 probably is not quite enough horsepower for that series, but maybe with some add-ons to it or something like that, you could do something with it. But yeah, so that's where that's sitting at too. So the thing about Champ Car, we run at Road America. We got a lot of friends that run there with us, so we all have a good time. There's a whole pit full of Mustangs that we run
That's
and
great.
everything, and yeah, we have a good time with it. So
Awesome. Sounds like you got a busy year coming up. So
yeah, I think so. And as you can see in the shop back, I want to give a shout out to Brad Dahmer Motorsports out of Sheboygan. He has been a great guy. He just got inducted to the Southeast Racing Hall of Fame
oh,
in
awesome.
Wisconsin. So he's been racing for a lot of years. That's his shop back there. He's got a couple NASCAR cars he runs. He's got a Kyle Busch truck he'll be running there. He's been great, and he's been able to help us out throughout the years and everything. So he's a big helper with us, as well as my friend Dean Dahl. He's the other car owner with me. We work on the car out of his shop all the time. So we're constantly out there. We have it's called Work on Car Wednesday. So the guys come out and sometimes we work on the car and sometimes we just sit around and eat pizza.
That's awesome.
And then another friend of ours, John Winker, Resilience Racing. John's a veteran. He's a wounded veteran, and he has Resilience Racing, which he helps other wounded veterans get into racing and do motorsports things with them and some therapy through motorsports.
Oh, that's awesome.
So that's Resilience Racing. And he's been a help with us too here, and just somebody that we get along with. He's from the Green Bay area, so we kind of got to meet each other
Mhm.
and help each other do some road racing stuff together. So, and
That's
he
great.
runs a Mustang as well. He doesn't have a 3.7, but he's thinking of getting one now after
Yes.
ours. He wants to get one to help because he can take some of his veterans that never raced before
Yeah.
and turn that into a hand control car or an automatic for somebody that that maybe doesn't have legs and stuff to run,
Yep.
and turn that car into it. And it's easy for them to drive, and they don't really get out of shape yet. They can still be on the track having fun.
Yeah.
So he's
Absolutely.
he's really serious at thinking about, hey, I think I might look at getting one of these 3.7s after you
That's
guys run it
awesome.
and are doing good. So yeah, so the community is growing, I think. So
That's great to hear. I guess while we kind of just wrap up here, any last pointers for people? I know we talked about going out to track days and
yeah.
networking and just going to see, but any other tips and tricks or pointers for people maybe getting into maybe even just watching the races or getting out there and trying to catch some races or even race themselves? I know we talked about it a little bit, but anything else you want to add to that?
Yeah, talk to people. Get on the Facebook. Get on some of these forums. Take some of the stuff you hear with a grain of salt. It is the internet, so maybe sort through some of the 25% of the bullshit you'll get out of it. But when you go to the track, people are going to be honest and genuine with you. Pretty much, you go to the track and your eyes will tell you what you see. Hey, I see they're running Brembo brakes on it. I see they're running this. You could ask them what kind of pad they're running. You can see what kind of tires they're running. And stuff. And it doesn't have to be expensive. That black car back behind you, we have less than $10,000 into that car, and we've raced it and we've run it on the track quite a bit. We have
the
less
Mustang
than
right there?
Yes, we have less than $10,000
awesome.
into that car.
That's great.
Our big expense was putting the roll cage in it, and then tires are $1,000 a set, and bigger wheels and stuff. But the brakes aren't bad on it and everything. So. So we bought that car for $2,000, and then we, from the insurance auction, we did all the other work to it, and everything. So so we have less than $10,000. So you don't have to be a millionaire to get out and run the car and have fun and everything. So now the silver car behind it, that's a more expensive car. It's got a full-blown race motor in it, and just the brakes for that car for a weekend are $1,000.
Jeez.
And stuff. So get out and run it, and same thing too. If you do want to get into racing, you want to get into Champ Car, look up Champ Car. There's Champ Car forums. There's Champ Car on Facebook page, and everything, and see what it's about. Go to the race and talk to the people, and see what they say and what are some of the expenses. Usually in Champ Car, you can we try to get a weekend out of a set of tires. So that's $1,000. Your brakes should be able to make it about a weekend too. That's another, on this car, the brakes are only like $500 for a set. The fuel costs a lot. We're going to run, I think I calculated out for Daytona, I think we're going to be running about $800-900 worth of fuel if we run the whole time, knock on wood, if we make it. Then you got to change oil and fluids and stuff like that. So it's not bad, so. But if there's any listeners that are in the Florida area or in the Daytona area or on the page or anything like that, and you're in Daytona, April 11th, we'll be there. Come look us up. You can see the car in the background. We'll have our flag up and everything, and just stop by and don't be afraid to grab somebody in our pit box and say, hey, I saw you guys on YouTube, or I saw you on your channel, and I saw you on the Facebook page or something like that, and say hi.
Awesome. Well, thank you, man. I appreciate that. Well, I think that concludes this. Thank you again so much for joining. And honestly, you suggested this. I'm not even going to take full credit for this idea. You reached out to me, so I genuinely appreciate that. Because this has been a lot of fun. I learned a lot, and I can see you're super passionate about it. So if you guys enjoyed, drop a like on this video. And if you want to see more 3.7 content, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate that. And go ahead and leave a comment down below if you'd like to if you want to see some more videos like this. So until next time, deuces.